Ho there, partakers of anime and the manga arts. Dost thou perchance find thyself in the mood for some good, old-fashioned courtly intrigue where knights, kings, and queens vie for power? Or mayhap thou art drawn to creatures of legend and the bold defiance of destiny's unyielding grasp? If so, then verily I have just the thing to sate thy noble fancy. Oh, sorry, what was that? My bad, I totally thought that was the vibe we were going for. Well, if you won't do Shakespeare, then I've got probably the next best thing for weebs. What's up, anime fans and manga readers? Welcome back to the best anime recommendation show on the planet, and as usual, we're bringing you anime of all flavors. This one in particular is a bit of an acquired taste, but once you get into it, I'm certain you'll be back for another round. Ranking of Kings is a Japanese manga created by Sosuke Toka that has been published online since May 2017 and has been collected into 18 volumes. The story follows a young prince named Boji who was born deaf and very, very small. I mean, look at this guy! He's like a Funko Pop, and I mean that in the best way possible. Before we talk about our boy Boji though, let's lay some groundwork. Ranking of Kings is set in a world where, for the most part, strength reigns supreme above all other virtues when it comes to leadership. Imagine a world where we picked our rulers not by popular vote or blood rights, but by who can bench press the greatest set. We'd have Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as the chairman of the United Nations or something. Ugh. The Ranking of Kings in this story refers to a system put in place by the gods where a committee secretly evaluates the power and prosperity of human kingdoms by, you guessed it, ranking their kings. The king who receives the top ranking is granted a special reward from the Divine Treasure Vault, a legendary hoard of wealth and powerful artifacts. While not everyone in power actively pursues this, the existence of this ranking system has a massive impact on the political landscape of the world and fuels the ambitions of those who seek to ascend to the top. With that said, Boji was born as the prince of the kingdom of Boss, and you would think that this would make his life easy, but no, quite the contrary. Since his birth, he faced ridicule and open scorn from those in the palace and kingdom due to his disabilities, causing many to see him as unfit to rule. Despite this, Boji dreams of becoming a strong and noble king like his father and works hard to keep a smile on his face, even in the face of cruelty, and when he does smile, you just can't help but smile with him. He's just the brightest little ball of sunshine you'll ever see. Unfortunately, not everyone in the kingdom sees him this way, but we'll get into that later. At some point, Boji crosses paths with a pretty enigmatic character known simply as Shadow. Shadow, or Kage as he's called for my sub-viewers out there, is the last surviving member of a fallen assassin clan. Unlike everyone else, Shadow can understand Boji's words, even though his disability prevents him from speaking. Together, the two form an unlikely bond, and they set out on Boji's quest to become stronger. The events of the series are set into motion by the death of Boji's father, King Boss, a legendary giant warrior celebrated as the strongest man in the world during his prime. On his deathbed, Boss makes it pretty clear that he intends for his eldest son, Boji, to replace him on the throne as his rightful heir. However, many in the royal court doubt Boji's ability to rule due to his physical limitations. They instead throw their support behind his younger half-brother, Prince Daida, who, though arrogant, is seen as more capable because of his strength. In classic fairy tale fashion, the person spearheading the opposition to Boji's succession is Queen Hyling, Daida's mother and Boji's very own stepmother. She calls for a vote to override Boss's dying wish, and the court ultimately decides to crown Daida as the king instead. Stripped of his rightful claim to the throne, Boji pleads for permission to go on a personal quest across the land to gain strength and wisdom. Queen Hyling, who once cared for Boji in her own way, finds it difficult to refuse him and reluctantly grants his request. Meanwhile, Daida, the so-called king, is being driven by an unseen force to weave a dark scheme to solidify his rule and claim the much-coveted title of #1 in the Ranking of Kings. Whew! That was quite the setup, wasn't it? But that's just the thing about this show. Despite what it seems like at first, everything about the world and the story is layers deeper than you would expect. Characters that seem like tropes at the start quickly blossom into fully realized individuals with their own nuances and complexities. The world bears a facade of a lightly hearted storybook and lulls you in with its warm colors and playful art style before knocking the wind out of you with a shocking display of horror or violence. The characters are fascinating, specifically Boji, who stands out as a light despite the world trying to blank him out. He's a surprisingly realistic representation of disability in anime, and I wasn't particularly expecting that much nuance in that regard from a show like this, but he left me pleasantly surprised. His dynamic with Shadow is a joy to watch, and although it forms the core of the show, every other character he meets on his journey makes their own unique mark on not just the audience, but on Boji himself. We've talked often about the fantasy anime renaissance that has taken place over the last few years, with titles like Free Ren or Dungeon Meshi often coming up. I'm of the opinion that Ranking of Kings should be placed right up there with the best of them. It's got everything from evil stepmoms to magic mirrors to gods and devils to reincarnation to assassin clans to epic battles. The list is endless, and each one of those things is presented in a fresh and exciting way. Although the art style is a bit unconventional and took me some time to get used to, the animation was never once lacking, and I was pleasantly surprised to find out that it was made by none other than Studio Wit. Yes, the same Studio Wit behind classics like Attack on Titan, Vinland Saga, and Shikanoko Noko Noko Koshi Tantan, but that's just a testament to their willingness to take on unique projects. And I'm proud to say that Ranking of Kings is handled with the same love and care as all their other shows. There's only one full season of Ranking of Kings out right now, and a spin-off of side stories set in the same world. However, a movie has been announced, and the manga just returned from an extended hiatus that most Hunter x Hunter fans, aka me, can relate to. If you want to whisk yourself away into a beautiful, unique fantasy world with well-written characters, incredible world building, and a deeply emotional narrative, then Ranking of Kings should definitely be on your radar. Anyway, that's all we have for today, folks. Do you agree with my pick? Maybe there are some really promising shonen titles that I left out. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and ring the notification bell to get regular updates on new videos. I make awesome anime and manga content like this every week, so be sure to check them out. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.